All right, good morning, guys. Day 19 or day 20 of our training session. Today we will give me a second. Someone was trying to come in. Okay. All right. So this is going to be the roadmap for this morning session. Dedicate some time. I will dedicate some time at the end of this session to deal with requirement clarification. Right. So yesterday I gave you guys a new set of project that you guys are going to start working on, and I'll have some time at the end of this session to take your queries and questions and do some clarification as a stakeholder, right? So this morning I want to talk about software testing. So you guys know the SDLC, right? We talked about the SDLC some weeks ago, well maybe 3 weeks ago. We talk about the software life the development life cycle, and after development, what comes next is testing. So this morning I want us to consider testing, right? Testing is very, very important in the face of any application or software development. The testing phase is equally important. It's a very important phase that we cannot ignore, right? If you underestimate the effort of software testing, the end results can be a dull situation. And so it's very, very important that we take software testing very, very important. So let's get into it this morning. What is software testing? Let's get into it. So software testing, it is a method to check whether the actual software product matches the expected requirement and to ensure that software product is defect free, right? So you guys have seen that the word defect is underlined. There's a keyword here. So when we say we are doing testing, what are we doing? It's a method to check whether the actual software product matches the expected requirement, right? And to ensure that the software product is what? Defect free or bug free. So when we develop an application, um, we all know the kind of life cycle or the initial life cycle: requirement gathering, you come to design, you come to planning, you come to development, you come to testing. Um, and of course, even the first stage, which is requirement gathering, there is an expectation of us as a development team from our stakeholders, right? They expect that something should be done, and not just something should be done. They expect us to develop a robust, functional platform that excites them. And as a matter of fact, that serves, you know, um, the functionality that they're looking up to, right? That they're looking for. And so when you develop application, we need to ensure that this application that we have developed truly serves the purpose, and it needs to also work as expected, and the software product is also what? Defect free, that is bug free, right? So it involves execution of software system or component using manual and automated tools to evaluate one or more properties of interest. The purpose of software testing is to identify errors, gaps, or missing requirement in contrast to actual requirement, right? So the stakeholder is going to give us their requirement. This is what we're looking for. Yesterday, I started giving you guys requirement, right? Something that we want to build for our platform. And then I gave you guys requirement. I want to see this. I want to see this. I want to have a service portal. We have lender portal. We have all this. So there's an expectation, right? And so when finally development work is done or completed, we need to be able to evaluate. We need to be able to assess. We need to be able to test to ensure that whatever the stakeholder um, said that he or she wanted has been done exactly as is expected, and that the product, the product that we're going to be shipping out or we're going to be deploying is bug free or defect free as well. So there are a series of things that is done to ensure that um, we check for errors, we check for gaps, we check for missing things, trying to make sure that all the things that the stakeholders said that they want, it's out there and it's working as well, right? Okay. So this is why software testing is important. This is just some of the things that has happened in the industry. People losing a lot of money because they underestimated testing, or testing was not maybe properly maybe followed or properly done, and so it has caused this mega organization or institutions a lot of money. So number one, you see over there in April 2015. A Bloomberg terminal in London crashed due to a software glitch affected more than 300,000 traders in financial market. So it forced the government to postpone like a £3 billion debt sale. You can imagine. Nissan cars recalled over 1 million cars from the market due to software failure. So in the airbag sensory detectors. So there has been reported 2 accidents due to this software failure. And in every industry, when something is done, there's a need to be able to test it to ensure and to guarantee the efficacy of the potency of that product, right? That is able to deliver the expected outcome. It's very, very important. It's very, very, very important. And so Nissan have to recall about 1 million cars because of this anomaly or bugs that were detected in their airbags. Very, very critical. And then, some of these things, when you don't take it seriously, people can see you for that. Yeah, people can, see you, for not paying attention to your own product and for not doing the right thing and bringing the product to the market. You're going to get a lot of lawsuits. Starbucks was forced to close about 60% of stores in the US and Canada, right? Due to software failure in its POS system. At one point, the store served coffee for free as they were unable to process transaction. So we all know Starbucks. For those of you that don't know Starbucks, Starbucks is a coffee shop. So all that they do is to brew coffee, package it, and sell it to people. In America, a lot of people patronize, Starbucks in the morning when you're going on to work. They have to check in at Starbucks, grab a cup of coffee and whatnot. People spend a lot of money, and it just happened that at one point they had some POS issues, that their point of sale issues, so people cannot pay for coffee, and so they have to close about 60% of their stores. And at even some time, at one point in time, they need to still give the customers the coffee for free because they cannot, take the transaction. In America, we do a lot of payment with card, with your debit card. We don't do a lot of cash here. It is not a cash, type of society. America is cash light. As a matter of fact, you will hardly find somebody come into a store and then wanted to pay cash. A lot of people do cash, but it's a cash light society. That means most of our transactions in stores, a greater part of it, almost maybe 95% to 90% of it, they are all done with plastic cards. So credit card, debit card, and whatnot. People use that. They don't carry cash in their wallets and in their purses, and they don't carry cash around. So America is a very cash light society. So, in order to not to attract all the, public ridicule and public shame and whatnot, some of the stores decided to, people come in the morning, you need to serve them. They cannot turn them away and tell them that, we cannot process the transaction, right? So people walking into Starbucks and then they just have to serve them the coffee for free, right? Yeah. Because they do not want, the bad press or the bad rap. Moving on, some of Amazon's third-party retailers saw their product price reduced to 1 penny due to software glitch. They were left with heavy losses. So imagine getting onto Amazon.com and then you're trying to buy stuff and then realizing that all the items that you want to buy, most of them are all like, 1 penny. There's a glitch somewhere. So most of the sellers or third-party sellers, all their items, the price tag over there have reduced to 1 penny. That's a serious issue. You can imagine the losses. If this happened, if this downtime happened in just 1 hour or 2 hours, it is still going to cost them a lot of money. This is still going to cost them a lot of money, right? It's going to be a lot of losses. There's heavy losses. So there has been, and maybe let me take the last one on the list. In May of 1996, a software bug caused the bank accounts of 823 customers of major US bank to be credited with 920 million US dollars. Just imagine that you wake up in the morning and your account has been credited with maybe $1.2 million, maybe $200,000, all by error and by accident. This is all as a result of what? Something that was not tested properly, a glitch in the system that was not detected at the time of the development application. And then once it goes into production, it goes live, we launch it. And then these issues began to, just show up. This is going to cost you a lot of money. I've worked in the bank before. I've worked as a teller in America before, way back. And even when there's an error when you're processing transaction. I remember there was a day when I was a teller, somebody came in, I did a transaction for this individual, he left, and then later on I realized that there was a mistake in the transaction that I processed, right? Even for me to correct that error, I needed to get with the customer first. I remember my branch manager actually told me to call the customer. So I called the customer and said, look, you were in the branch this morning. You were up there, you were up here, and then you remember I did a transaction for you. I said, yeah, I remember. I said your account was credited with maybe $2 or $5. Well, I remember it was not even a significant amount, but I cannot change it because when you change it, it's going to reflect in their bank statements, and they can come back and ask questions. Where and what is this transaction for, right? And people can see the bank necessarily for nothing. And so I needed permission from this customer to correct a simple mistake and say, oh, maybe I did maybe $10 more, $15 more. I remember so well. I needed to call the customer and let the customer know, hey, I did this amount or this figure was, transposed, and I have to correct it. And the person gave me, his word that yeah, I should go ahead, so that when his bank statement come for that month, when he's going through that transaction trail, he's not going to be all over the place going gaga, going crazy and saying that, what did the bank, is the bank taking his money or something like that, right? So that is very, very important, guys. So testing is critical. Now you have credited almost about $920 million. How do you go back to all these customers, right? Go back to all these customers and ask them, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? It can be done, but it's going to be humongous. It's going to be a lot of work to be done. All right, moving on. So in testing, there are a couple of artifacts, right? There are a couple of things that quality assurance, engineers they work on. There are a couple of artifacts. So what are these artifacts? So we have test plans. So before they test, they work on the test plan documentation, right? So a test plan documentation is simply a document that describes the approach, testing environments, testing scenarios, the tools, scenarios, the types of testing that's going to be conducted for the project, right? So a test plan document. Then be at the beginning of every project, right? The testers will have a test plan document, developed. So they work on their test plan document, and then they will share with the team. This is their test plan document for this project that we are starting. And then we have a test strategy document. There's a thin line between a test strategy document and a test plan, document as well. There's another artifact of, quality assurance engineers. And then we have test cases. A test case document is also another document that describes step-by-step approach on how this feature is going to be tested. So for instance, I think I might let you guys look at, Gmail, Gmail login feature, and how somebody who is a QA or a test engineer will write a test case, to be able to test a Gmail login feature. There are processes that goes into that, and it's very important that even though this training is centered around, business analyst, product owner, and then a product manager type of thing, to get you guys grounded. It's very important that, I walk you through one simple test case or something like that, so that you guys know. You guys are, more than welcome to research online and, read more. And I'm also, I have an open posture to, send resources your way for you guys to read. And it's very important because sometimes, as a business analyst, not only do you put out feature sets, user stories, epics, and all of that, but sometimes too, you will help to coordinate UAT. So UAT is user acceptance testing. So as testing is done, and then they, they send out the report and metrics that, QA is done with their work. Now, what do? The product will have to go to, UAT, right? UAT, that is the end client user. They have to check their product out, or you even have to demo the product out to them, right? How do you demo it to them? So this is where what we are talking about is critical and it's essential. So as a business analyst, you need to prepare the environment, make sure that, your staging environment, your UAT environment is ready. The coach is put out there. You have some test data, test script, maybe prepared or something like that, so that, end client users can use in testing the application themselves to check it out, to make sure that everything is looking good. So it's very important that you, as a product owner, you have some idea, and you're also familiar with the processes that are involved when it comes to testing. So test cases are prepared. They are step by step. That shows how the feature sets or the functional area, key functional area is going to be tested, right? So step by step. So test cases are usually like manual testing, and then test scripts are usually like automation. So automation is another type of testing, but when it comes to automation, we use tools. So there are tools in the industry. One of the tools that are very popular is HP. HP has this tool on the market, very expensive, to get a license and other things. It's called HP QTP. So QTP is a tool for automation. You use it for testing. So automation, you write script. It's like code, right? You write some few code, lines of code, and that is what is going to be used in testing, in verifying the application that has been built to ensure that it is bug free and defect free. So automation is there and manual is there. We have quality assurance folks, some of them are manual, and then we have other quality assurance folks that are automation engineers as well. Bugs reports. So bugs reports is also something, one of the artifacts of a quality assurance phase. So after testing and doing everything, they need to be able to produce bug reports, right? So a bug report will simply have information on how many bugs were and defects were discovered or found in the course of this project. How many of these defects were closed, how many of these defects are still open. It will have all those type of reports. Where environment, what places, what operating software, where this defect discovered, the browsers that were used. Bug report will have all those details in there. So at the end of the project, we can say that we discovered 200 bugs. At the end of the project, we can say we discovered 500 bugs. Maybe 400 of them were closed. Others, we are still open. We are still working on it. Or some of them have been maybe shelved for future stuff, right? So they did not directly impact on it, but we can consider those ones as maybe a future enhancement that we can work on. So, there are so many things around bug reports. And then we have traceability metrics. So quality assurance engineers as well, they work on something that we call traceability metrics. So what is traceability metrics? So pretty much um, as they are doing their work, when requirement is out there, they want to be able to map their test cases and other things to the requirement document by the business analyst. So they want to make sure that they have covered every feature, every functionality that is out there in the requirement, right? Make sure that they have all things covered before they start testing activity. So traceability metrics is also one. So one of the things to ensure that there is adequate test coverage for these feature sets, right? So that is basically what traceability is about, ensuring that there's adequate test coverage for the requirement, making sure that you've covered the requirement 360 all around, right? And then certifications usually QA will send out certifications to the organization, to some other distro layers of senior managers and all other people, letting them know that QA has tested all these features. This is what is going into production. It meets the standard of QA. It was tested in this environment. It was tested in this browsers, and there are no defects found. And this, requirement sets, these are what is going live. It's just a certification that, gives everybody comfort that QA has done their work and this is what they are shipping out, right? Very, very important. So this is an example of a test case for Gmail login, right? So test case document, there's an example. I don't know, I tried to squeeze it in because of the spreadsheet, it is horizontal, it's very long. And I try to make sure that you guys at least will see something, right? If you want to see it, maybe later on, I can forward it to you. I can send it to you if you want to see the actual spreadsheet document so that you can familiarize yourself with it. I can share. And as a matter of fact, I will share to your WhatsApp groups as well. So as you see from the column heading, there's a test case ID, precondition, test case name, description, test steps, test data, expected condition, and I think I cut it off because it was too long. After expected condition, there's also actual as well. Too long. If I was gonna, have it all the way along, guys will not be able to see anything. But this is a type of a test case document that QAs, questions people will write. So they will write all these things. Test case ID, they'll give it an ID. So BOA login page, right? So they say that BOA login. I believe the test case ID over there suggests page, login page. So the precondition. So precondition, they mean what must exist before the testing activity can commence, right? So that is a precondition. And the test case name, they will write the name of the testing feature that they want to validate, that they want to test. So as you guys can see under the test case name column, BOA, I believe BOA is Bank of America login page, Bank of America login valid, and then login invalid. So there are different scenarios. So in testing as well, testers execute different type of testing scenarios that will allay the fears and give everyone comfort that they've tested both negative and positive scenarios to ensure that there are no gaps, there are no errors, there are no defects found in the application, right? As you guys can see. And then we have the description over there. So the test description, test BOA login page, also in there. And then the test steps. The test steps is something that I want to maybe dwell on a little bit. The test steps and test data and expected condition. So that's very critical. So testing will definitely have test steps. So number one, you open browser, you go here, you need to be able to describe the exact scenario, how you got there, the path. So that is what test steps is about. Test steps is all about the path. How did you tested it? How it was, this scenario was tested. What did you do exactly, right? So that's very, very important. Very, very important that you show us the test. So you have in the test steps, number one, enter the valid username. Number two, enter the valid password. Number three, click on the sign in button. So all those things you will express it. It's going to be expressed in written form in your test case document. So test case document, it's not like they use Excel. There are a lot of tools on the market like HPALM. HPALM is another tool they use for test case management. There are others. There are so many tools that are out there that are used for test management efforts, writing test cases, test plans, and all of that. Back in the days, we didn't have some of these tools on the market that we used to. We were using spreadsheet, and even spreadsheet is still good anyways. But back in the days that spreadsheet was very prevalent, was very common people to write their test cases in a spreadsheet document. But these days there are so many tools on the market, to take care of that. So test steps, test data. So what do we mean by test data? So test data is going to be the artifacts that you need to be able to do the testing. So you need a URL to be working. You need a username, a password, and all those type of these are all test data that is needed to be able to test. And the expected condition. So the expected condition is that when you log into the page and you open your when you go onto the login screen or login page, you type in the username, password. This is what must happen. That's the expected condition. And then actual. So when you test it, what happened? So that is where you put in the actual column as well. In the actual column, you will say that testing was successful, testing was not successful, something failed. So that is where you have you begin to have bug report and other things like that. All right, moving on. So what are the benefits of software testing? So definitely what we are talking about, that means there's a benefit in that, right? So number one is cost effective. Why is it cost effective? It's one of the important advantages of software testing. Testing in AIT project on time helps you to save your money for the long term, right? Very, very important. Security. So it is a most vulnerable and sensitive benefit of software testing. People are looking for trusted product, right? It helps in removing risks and problems earlier. So I remember, Bernice, when you're writing one of your stories, when it comes to the checkout or maybe the payment, you were talking about, customers will come to a secure page. Yes, people want to see that, pay your site is secure. How do they know that? It has to be SSL. So if you guys have been to websites, when you go to a website, you see a little padlock in the URL bar or the browser, bar area, right? When you type in the website that you want to go, and if you guys have realized the small padlock symbol or icon over there, that is the SSL, to ensure, to give people comfort that this site is secure, this site is protected, right? So if you log in with your data, you should be, okay. You should not have any qualms. You should not have any, cause to worry or concern, right? So security is paramount, especially in any platform that is online that you're dealing with people. You need to take security seriously, and of course, testing will help us, get there as well. Product quality. So the reason why testing is very important, quality is essential requirement of any software product. So testing ensures quality product is delivered to customers. So we don't want to ship out, buggy platform. When you click on something, it crash. When you click here, something is not working. When you click on some sort of page, it keeps buffering, forever, nothing gets done. That is a buggy platform. We don't want to ship out a buggy platform, a platform full of defects. When you click on the image is cracked, it's broken. You cannot even view images. You cannot even view, you cannot even get to different pages of the application. Nothing works, right? So there are so many, when you go on platforms that you see all these things, that means there are a lot of defects, a lot of bugs on this platform. And so the last thing is customer satisfaction. Of course, the main aim of any product is to give satisfaction to your customers, right? So testing ensures that the customer experience is enhanced and is better. For me, if I come to your platform and if the user experience is bad, I don't think, when the user experience is terrible, I don't think I'll come back to that platform again. So it is important that testing, time is, there's some time dedicated for testing activity, and testing is done and we ensure that the quality of the platform is great. So here are, some type of testing, right? Some type of testing here. So we have functional testing. Under functional testing, we have unit testing, integration testing, smoke testing, user acceptance testing, localization, globalization, interoperability. These are all different types of testing. And then non-functional type of testing, we have performance testing, right? We deliberately will test some platform to ensure that if 100,000 people log on onto this platform, will the platform crash, or will they be able to hold on, to all this number of people? So performance testing. If your site is like Macy's or maybe Best Buy, and it's Black Friday, and you have millions of people trooping in onto your website, trying to catch a deal. And these days that COVID-19 and all this pandemic is here, everybody's doing shopping online, even groceries and other things. We're all doing it online, right? So you need to make sure that it doesn't matter, or regardless of the number of people that will be logged onto your platform will be able to stand, the test of, endurance and performance. It will not crash. So we have all these type of testings, load testings, volume, scalability, usability, and whatnot. And then for maintenance, we have regression testing, for maintenance as well. And the regression testing, pretty much, when the software is in maintenance mode, let me talk about it. When we add new features whilst we're still in maintenance mode, we ship out, we add new features. Regression testing is a type of testing that is performed when we add new features. The wisdom behind that, or the reason behind that, is that we want to ensure that as new additional features are being added, the old ones that were there, we have not impacted on it, right? So we want to make sure that everything still works as expected. So that is the reason why we execute regression testing. So the categories of testing, I think I've highlighted on this. We have manual testing, we have automated testing. So manual testing, you prepare test cases, you enter, each features, you check, you note it down, you check it down. And then for automation, automated testing, it is done by writing code to test the application. Some of the tools that are out there, Selenium, HPQTP, and the others, they are all great automated tools for testing. Let's talk about bugs and defects, right? We've been talking about defect. So what are defects or bugs? So a defect is an error or a flaw or fault in a computer program or a system that causes it to produce an incorrect or unexpected results, or to behave in an unintended ways, right? So just like we talked about, the stakeholder will give you a set of requirement that, hey, build this for me. And if, the stakeholder come on the platform, we're testing this and the page is crashing, page cannot be opened, the links over there, you click on this, donate, like an example of, the church platform that we built. We recently developed. When you click on the donate button does nothing happen. It's not enabled to redirect you to the next page. That is going to be a bug, right? So as an error, a flaw, or fault in a computer program or system that causes it to produce an incorrect, unexpected result, right? To behave in an unintended way. So that's not what we intended. So this platform to behave, but unfortunately, it's behaving this way. So that's a bug. We need to call it out, right? We need to call it out. We need to fix it. So a bug can be something as menial as a misaligned image on a landing page, or as serious as a mobile app spontaneously crashing, right? So there you go with an example of a bug or a defect. Bugs, just like software development, it has a cycle, right? So a bug also have a bug life cycle. So when you open up a bug, there's a couple of cycle or steps that we need to go through. So if you're a quality assurance engineer, or if you're a software test engineer or software testing engineer, when you found a bug or when you discover a bug, there is a cycle that it has to go through, right? You first find it, it has to be fixed. You need to retest, and then once you retest, if you're lucky, you will not discover the bug again. If it has been fixed properly, then that means you need to pass it. So there's a bug life cycle that we need to look at. So a bug lifecycle is a software testing, is a specific set of states that defect or bug go through in its entire life. So the purpose of defect lifecycle is to easily coordinate and communicate current status of defect, which changes to various assignees and make defect fixing process systematic and efficient, right? So as we have defect, this is how it starts from. So you find a new bug, a new defect, that is a new status. It's going to be new. And then what you do, you open it up, you write all the details in the defect, and then you assign it. Who do you assign it to? You assign it to the developer that work on that story, right? So let's say you write a user story, you check that story, and the QAs check that story, and then they find a defect that no, that story is not working as expected. So they open up a bug or a defect report, and then they assign it to the developer. So as you guys can see, we have the open, right? If it's open, the developer will start working on it. It goes to fix, and then it will come into a pending rate test, right? So when the developer fixes it, that means we're waiting for the tester or the quality assurance engineer to test it again. So when the quality assurance retest it, a couple of things can happen. It can be reopened again. As you guys can see to the left side, it's being reopened and then also verified. So if the retest is satisfactory, it looks good, then it will go to verified and then we close it. But if in the course of the retest, another bug was discovered or the same issue still prevail or it still exists, then that means we need to reopen the bug again. So that's why you see on the left side, the arrow pointing to reopen. And then it goes all the way up to open again. So we open it again for the developer to fix it. And it will come down again to that same cycle. So as you guys can see. And sometimes when we open it, we can say that, also at the very initial stage, when we say new, assign, open, sometimes, as you guys can see the arrow pointing to the right side, we can say this is a duplicate. So that means somebody has already opened this bug before, or we can reject it and say that, no, this is not a bug, or we can defer it and say, we will take a look at this maybe later on, maybe in the future, but not now. Yes, it's a bug, but we will defer this. So we will not fix this, or we will not work on this right now. And then we can also say not a bug. It is not a bug at all, right? So that could be another status that is not a bug at all. So this is the bug life cycle, bug life cycle. So pretty much the definitions, this is what I've just talked about: new, assign, open, fix, pending test, and then retest. These are all the things that I've just called out right now. Same thing. So this is another sample of a bug life cycle that a bug will typically go through. I want to get to this real quick, and then I will take the requirement clarification. So the example of a bug report, right? In a bug report, you'll have the bug ID and all the things: bug ID, the name, the pest, the reporter. So you see the name over here: login, unable to log in. The reporter is Samuel Boateng. The bug report date 9/24/2020. The summary: login failure. When the current username and password is entered, login keeps failing, right? Where the URL is there, screenshot of it, of the issue, and then failure.png file. So that means there's a screenshot, an image file of this issue. So all the important information here is on here. And then when you take a look at the bug report, there are maybe three things that are very important. We have the severity and then the priority. So in every bug report, you need to be able to talk about the severity. Severity is how bad does this affect the system? How bad the severity? So how bad does this impact on the system? And then the priority is how fast, or what is going to be the urgency that we should give to this bug. Some bugs are critical. We need to fix them immediately. Other than that, it will start causing us a lot of losses, a lot of issues. So we need to do that. So this video is going to be there. You guys are welcome to take a look at this video and watch all the steps that are in here. But I'm going to stop right here and then take clarifications. I want to make sure that I listen to you guys on yesterday the requirement and then clarify. So you guys are free to unmute, and then let's talk about yesterday the requirement. If you have questions or whatnot, we have 10 minutes, so I want to have some time to do this. All right, let's go, guys. Unmute yourself. Questions on the requirement, let me clarify so that you guys can get ahead.
Yes, Samuel.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is Kofi. Please, I wanted to find out with the loan buyout. I wanted to find out if for such interbank trades, you would want the transactions to be performed in the portal, or you just want the portal. You just want to view those transactions in the portal. So I want to find out if it should be performed with a portal or you just want to view it in a portal.
Yeah, we should be able to view it in the same portal, right?
The same
So
portal. Okay.
yeah, we should be able to view it in the same portal. So that's a loan buyout.
Okay, all right. And then also for this signed document, digital, right? Not scanned
No.
manually.
We're not going to be doing anything manual, like you
Okay.
print it out, you sign, and you have to scan back and then you upload. No. We're going to so everything's going to be e-sign.
Okay.
Everything's going to be e-sign. Yeah, we'll be using e-sign.
Okay. And then also from the lender perspective, do we have specific positions as to the task that are supposed to be done? Then do we have specific positions, position holders for this, so that in our stories we can say as maybe a teller or something, specific positions?
Yeah, there's going to be actors, people that will interface with, the platform, right? So
Yes.
on every platform, there are people or roles or functions that will definitely be interfacing with the platform. They will work on the platform. This is how they administer their work. So there are a couple of roles that will definitely be administering on that platform.
Okay. So I can say we can be creative on that as well. We don't have to just say as a lender, but then we can be creative from that standpoint.
Yeah. There's going to be some admins, some customer service people. At every point in time, there are people that will be playing on that platform. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Okay. I'm listening. We still have some minutes. I wanted to make sure that, I dedicate some time for requirements, clarification. This is what, typical at any workplace is done, right? You talk to stakeholder, the next day you come back, schedule another meeting, and then you do another, clarification session. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Bernice. I see you on microphone. I'm mute.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. First of all, I just wanted to let you know that we haven't received the requirement.
Oh, template, the BLD template, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, and also, my next question is on the banking project. I wanted to ask a quick question, okay, for the lenders. When the patient comes in, okay, and they want the loan from the lenders, what are the steps that you want us to go through to qualify the person? And if they don't qualify, would there be a second option for them? Would there be another option for them?
Yeah, so when a patient or individual come on the platform, or when they interface with their doctor or dentist, whatever, and then they give them the option that, hey, you can have financing for your procedure or your surgery, whatever. So what is going to happen is that they will go through the application. They will enter their social security number. We will work with TransUnion or Experian or maybe one of these credit bureaus, and then we will have their credit score or their FICO score pooled, and then when their FICO is FICO, guys, FICO, so FICO score pooled or their credit score pooled, we will place them in different categories, right? So there's going to be some risks, modeling in there. They say this person is category A, category B, category C, based on their credit worthiness information that we receive from the credit bureau. So once that is done, we'll have three type of output, right? So one is approved, one is denied, and then one is NFR. NFR means need further review, right? So once the person go through that process application, one of this is going to be the results for the person. Is it approved or need further review, or maybe denied or declined or whatever, whatever we want to put on that. So it's going to be denied. Yeah, let's put the word denied. That's appropriate. So that's what's going to happen.
Okay, and with this happening, for those that are denied, are there any other steps for them since this These are
No.
patients who, okay.
No, when we deny, that's it. That means, we cannot give you money. You are not credit worthy. We cannot give you money. We're not guaranteed of. It's going to be too much risk for us.
Okay. All right. And my next question is really setting up the project in the Jira.
Okay.
Right. So yesterday I tried to start working on it in the evening when I woke up, but I don't know, it wasn't making sense to me. I tried to create an epic, but the interface wasn't the same as when I was working on the last project. And
Okay, I'll check and fix that. I think maybe Epics is not enabled. I'll go ahead and check all of you. You guys, everybody's project, make sure that Epics is enabled, and that's it. It's an easy fix.
okay, all right, thank you.
All right, no problem.
And we
Okay.
still can't also delete. Should we make any error?
Okay, I will check on that as well.
Okay, thanks.
Eben, I assume that you're okay. You don't have any question. And Jeffrey, I assume that you are also okay. You don't have any question.
Yes, please. We are okay.
Okay. So with that said, since you guys don't have a question, then that's gonna be it, guys. All right. So I'll ensure that I have some tasks that I need to do. I need to send you guys the BRD template, and I also need to get into Jira and then make sure that the settings are right, and you guys will be able to create epics and user stories and whatnot, and all the other capabilities you guys mentioned. I'm going to ensure that it's in there. With that said, thank you guys. Today is Friday, right? So I'll see you
Right.
guys. Yeah, today's Friday, so I'll see you guys on Monday. All right. Have a good week.